Hey guys, Desolator Gaming here, and Wu Jin Pen is a beatable slot machine. It's got true progress, so all we have to do is watch enough spins to figure it out. And if you're new to advantage playing slots, what I mean is how high does the number have to be where if somebody got off it leaving that number that you could jump on, and on average the return to player, or the expected win, the EV, whatever you want to call it, is higher than 100%. Because then if you do it over and over and over and over and over, day after day, trip after trip, then you're always going to come out ahead, on average, in the long run. Thus me saying this is a beatable slot. So if you watch enough spins, you can figure it out. Which I did, and I wish I hadn't. This makes Frankenstein look simple. I thought it was really easy. Take the number it went off at, take the number of spins it took to get there, compare them. Unfortunately, the different bonus levels mean that I need to sample it at every single bonus level. And then, it's not a number of balls like it is with Magic Treasures Dragon, it's a number of spins to get balls. So there's another factor. And then the very first bonus is more balls. This spiraled into a nightmare that took me over a day to calculate. I hope I never see this machine ever again. And it's pretty likely because none of the casinos I go to have this one, so once again, I'm doing all this work just for you guys. And if you appreciate it, leave a big ol' like. Cause unlike the douchebags selling this information for way too much money, I'm selling it for a little bit less. Okay, just kidding. Yeah, I got a Patreon, link in the description and comments if you just want it all in one big PDF guide. It's like pocket change. Honestly, go check it out. Or if you just want to support the channel, otherwise, all the information, all the calculations, all the games I cover are always going to be on this channel for free. Go check out the playlist called How to Beat Casinos. Now, there is the Panda version and the Phoenix version, but as far as I could tell, they are completely identical. They appear to work differently, as one Phoenix comes out and makes a ball bigger, and the Panda comes out and splits the ball, but not in two, it gives it a new value, but the number is the same as what the Phoenix would have given it. So as far as I can tell, they're identical. Also, they sell this in a Class 2 cabinet, and I don't think Class 2 games are capable of being advantage play. So I'd have to see one to see how it works, because I might be wrong about that. But if you're in what you know is a Class 2 casino, so technically none of them are Class 3 slot machines, they're all just playing a bingo game, then I would steer clear of this one. If anybody has information to the contrary, leave it in the comments section though. Also, a lot of them have a buy a bonus feature, which is obviously not advantage playable. So how this one works is you get little coins that will fly up to the top, and sometimes they'll make that number go higher. But every 10 to 15 spins it happens actually. And then when it goes off, that's the number of spins you get, and it's just like any kind of other hold and spin thing where you get a spin, it fills in some, it's like Buffalo Link and Phoenix Link. But the good news for you is you get diminishing returns, because as there's less and less space, you land less of the balls at the end. I mean, it's technically a coin, but everything's a ball. Everybody's, anything hold and spin, it's a ball. And the big difference in if you come out ahead is pretty much the bonus depth, as I call it. So that's how far down the little gold bowls you get. So you can get 0, which would be a problem because you're almost definitely going to lose. But if we take every result I've ever seen, the average start depth with 0 being 0 and then the one under it being 1 and then 2, 3, 4 is 1.28. Now they're not weighted equally, so you're actually a little bit higher up on that. So on average, you'll start between level 1 and level 2 at about a 50-50 chance, give or take. And then like once in a while with it at a 0. About 1 in 5 bonuses in that neighborhood. I don't know if I had a sampling size big enough to determine that. And then it can upgrade within the bonus, but that effect is completely fake, as 100% of the time it showed up before or during the 5th spin, almost always on spin number 1. So it's just giving you the upgrade that you would have gotten in the first place. It's all fake. Everything on a slot machine is fake. Like the flyby on Rocket Rumble where they change the symbols and give you like a 5 of a kind, they're just showing you the results that happened anyway. But all I care about is end results and numbers. So like how high does the number have to be? Real simple. But as far as what the different bonus levels do, at depth number 1, as I call it, the one that says more credits, it'll activate on the Panda one, the one where it splits them into 2, or on the Phoenix one, the Phoenix will sometimes fly past and make the numbers bigger. At the end of the day, it is exactly the same number. You're within the territory of getting your money back, but what you really want to see is the multiplier. That takes the entire field of play of the whole bonus and multiplies it by 2, 3, 4, or 5. If your bonus has this feature, it doesn't seem like it kind of penalizes the numbers to even it out. It legitimately just runs a bonus and then like triples it. So a 200, 300, 400, or 500% win is really, really big. If it reaches that level, you're probably not going to lose. And it hits that about 40% of the time, somewhere in that neighborhood. Now without it, you might have a normal length run that's on average and then a normal bonus and still come up behind. So just be aware that that can happen, but this is a pretty consistent moneymaker in general. So as far as the jackpots one, it adds these little jackpot coins that rotate around. It's 2 different potential values, and it's almost always the lower one. Shocking, I know. In fact, it's almost always the mini or minor. I'm sure the major or higher could happen, but I've never seen it. And then the double reels is the entire thing, but 2 different play spaces. So kind of like that Hot Pots game, but it's not the first one to do that. Now remember, if you have double reels, you also have jackpot coins and multipliers and the more credit bonus. It doesn't just choose one of them, you get whatever you landed on and everything above it. So everything depends on the number of spins, except if you already have, 12 balls in play, it doesn't really matter if you have 20 more spins because you're not going to land them in those 3 spots. So on average, you're in for about 48 spins, with a very, very high variance in there, by the way. I've seen 1 to 5 spins light it off quite often. I've also seen it go 100 plus quite often. This is a pretty early fast go-off system. It's not nearly as harsh as Magic Treasures, aka Moneyballs, where you could just go on a fun little adventure from like 15 to 41 with no bonuses and then lose your ass. This one is a lot more forgiving, and the line pays are 35% of your payback. Well, in fact, let's talk about that before I show you the numbers. So everybody talks about, the line pays are non-existent. The line pays were under 5% contribution on Frankenstein. Believe it or not, after watching a mere 500 spins, the line pays are 35% of the returned money. I thought I didn't have a high enough sample rate, but then I threw in 1 win of like some outrageous amount, and it moved at 1% higher, and I already had 2 outrageous wins in the numbers. And then I put in a string of 50 zeros, and that barely even moved the needle. So I am 100% sure that I have this down to an accurate number. Now, I would explain that it's not an average sample of every 25, it's a cumulative back to spot 1 every 25, but nobody gives a crap. I barely give a crap. But ignore that trend line. You're not supposed to have a trend line on a line graph that samples that way. That makes no sense. I turned it on, fell asleep in my chair, woke up, and forgot how to turn it back off. I wish I was kidding. So anyway, early pops, very, 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 very common, to the point where this does not work under the usual accrual versus odds of going off system. It seems to be pure linear. But if it was pure linear, how the hell would people get to 34%? That'd be like a 1 in a million chance. So I had to kind of guess based on that data. And a lot of this is guesswork because I watched well over 1,000 spins. And the number at the end of the day was a 254% return to player, which I'm pretty sure the machine doesn't have. Pretty sure. So I had to guess at that, delete the short runs, get rid of like self-presentation bias. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute catastrophe. This is the worst one I've ever worked on in my entire life. So because I had to make some assumptions about knowing how it works and just like individual data sets and then mix them together in a way that involved estimation, the final number I came to, FYI, was 9 point, I'm not going to give the exact number, but mid 9 point something would be exactly 100% RTP. But I'd give it just based on like the margins within, okay, well, this would be the top and this would be the bottom, and then put them back in at the end number with their like contribution factor estimated and added in. There's about a 5 to 6% margin for error, unfortunately, which would bring it up to not just 10, but just above 10, which would mean that like, if you play at a 10 and the number is 10.1 for 100% RTP on the dot, then you're at like 99% you're going to lose money. So because of that, even though the numbers say 9 point something, I have to give it an 11. I have to say the playable number is 11. But that's fine because you always want to target 110% return to player anyway. You're not going to make any kind of reasonable money at 101%. I mean, look at the total amount you're betting. 1% of that is nothing. So I'm more than happy to come out and say the number is 11, and if you're playing tight, then go for a number above 11. Now, whether you win or lose seems very much tied to if it's what I call a 0 bonus or a 1 bonus. So a 0 bonus is nothing below it goes off, and then a 1 bonus or higher, up to 4, makes a big difference. In fact, the second level is just literally a multiplier. So if you're like, wow, I started at a 15 and it went only 20 spins and I still lost money, that's because it was a 0 bonus. A 0 bonus depth on the, I just called it the chocolate fountain in my notes. Good luck on seeing that. Now, if you're about to say in the comments section, but Des, I'm a fellow fat, okay? Anything that looks like a chocolate fountain in my daily life, I'm going to see it as that. And it's okay. That's probably why you saw it that way. First of all, I'm not that big. And secondly, I can't have chocolate because I have a kidney problem. I can't have any caffeine. So, I saw it as a chocolate fountain because it looks like a damn chocolate fountain. So the only question left is this endless spreadsheet from hell chipping away at my sanity, or am I always like this? Well, subscribe to find out, but I will tell you guys that I absolutely appreciate the support, the financial support, and the likes, the subscribing to my channel, but especially the Patreon support, because right now my channel's making like okay money, whatever. But that monthly amount, bro, that's the only thing keeping me afloat right now because I'm between jobs. I complained that I wasn't making enough and I'm driving up debt because they gave me a 3% raise every year, and my expenses went up 15% per year. And then they found out I was looking for another job and terminated me at a time when I was not making enough to even pay my bills. That is a bad combination, day one. I had very little of my savings. I'm like, what am I going to do besides rush out and get a job? So I've been doing this because, AP plays, typical casino trip makes me like 50 to 100, maybe a little bit more some days. But I don't have the loss tolerance now because I don't have the bankroll to just be like, oh, that's fine. I got a paycheck coming. To play the big stuff. And if you don't play the big stuff and only play the nickel stuff and the penny stuff, you aren't going to make that much money. That's why I'm like, hey, why don't I just tell other people how to do it? But I share stuff with people who just walk up and seem kind of neat. Yes, I've created more competition. I don't care, okay? I hate professional AP players because they're usually just like the worst people, They're too lazy to work. They're usually drug addicts, or they're like entitled. They're lazy. There's every negative personality thing that's preventing them from getting a job. They channel that into this and ripping people off on Pokemon cards on Facebook and real gray area crap, scamming people online. It's a type, okay? I've met them. I know that world. I don't like them. I like you guys better. You're at the casino anyway. It's a hobby. I'm trying to get your hobby to cost zero, okay? You run up a couple $100, throw it at tables, play what you want to play, go to the restaurant, tip the dealers, and walk out the door. Still cheaper than traveling, boating, fishing, hunting. You name the hobby, going to the casino is cheaper if you keep it real. So if I'm telling you, hey, here's how you get your return to player a little bit above 100, then I'm happy with that. And that's why I give out the information for free. But right now, the financial support is incredibly important to me. So without being a sob story e-bagger, I just wanted to tell you guys, like, right now, that's what's real. If I can get that up to about triple what it is right now, I won't even bother looking for a job. But I don't know how realistic that really is, and it's not really my goal. Right now, it's just pay the bills, stall, and run up debt while I do interviews. But if you want to help a bro out, go check it out. Link in the description in the comments. It's valuable information that will almost definitely mathematically, on average, but no guarantees, make you money. I would say it absolutely guaranteed will make you money over the long term, but then you could sue me, so I'm not going to say that. But I just love educating people on how to play better, and I love helping you guys out, because you're nice enough to come here and watch my content. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.